Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A deliberate act of omission. With the exception of the children, everyone was told the news. An instance that does not conform to a rule or generalization. All her children were brilliant. The only exception was her last child. Grounds for adverse criticism. His authority is beyond exception. A deliberate act of omission. Omission of a sound between two words, usually a vowel and the end of one word or the beginning of the next. The act of forcing out someone or something. A deliberate act of omission. The state of being excommunicated. The state of being excluded. Any process whereby sounds or words are left out of spoken words or phrases. A mistake resulting from neglect. Neglecting to do something, leaving out or passing over something. Something that has been omitted. She searched the table for omissions. A representative form or pattern. I profited from his example. Something to be imitated. An occurrence of something. But there is always the famous example of the Smiths. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. This patient provides a typical example of the syndrome. Punishment intended as a warning to others. They decided to make an example of him. A task performed or problem solved in order to develop skill or understanding. You must work the examples at the end of each chapter in the textbook. Showing by example. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. Artwork that helps make something clear or attractive. A visual representation, a picture or diagram, that is used to make some subject more pleasing or easier to understand. An occurrence of something. Another instance occurred yesterday. Clarify by giving an example of. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. An advocate who represents someone else's policy or purpose. A member of the United States House of Representatives. A person who represents others. Being or characteristic of government by representation in which citizens exercise power through elected officers and representatives. Representative government is defined by Abraham Lincoln as government of the people, by the people, for the people. Serving to represent or typify. Representative moviegoers. Standing for something else. The bald eagle is representative of the United States. The act of expressing earnest opposition or protest. The act of protesting. A public, often organized, manifestation of dissent. Law. A procedure whereby a party to a suit says that a particular line of questioning or a particular witness or a piece of evidence or other matter is improper and should not be continued and asks the court to rule on its impropriety or illegality. The speech act of objecting. Brief description accompanying an illustration. Translation of foreign dialogue of a movie or TV program, usually displayed at the bottom of the screen. Provide with a caption, as of a photograph or a drawing. Taking exception, especially a quibble based on a captious argument. A mere caption unworthy of a reply.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.